Leicester Peak is among a long chain of hills occupying the Western Area Peninsula. According to colonial depictions, 200 years ago, these slopes consisted of pristine forest and dozens of whitewater streams cascading from their water catchments. In just the past 20 years, human encroachment for resources and land has enveloped Leicester Peak into the capital city superstructure. With the threat of housing and industrial claims emerging on the site of Leicester Peak, the delivery of a site plan to the board and management of the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation is a timely measure to avoid future altercations with land grabbers. Claimants to the grounds of Leicester Peak are now reminded of the site's original status as government property, managed by a branch of the Ministry of Information and Communication, which is the nation's public broadcaster, the SLBC. The first wireless station was activated in 1921 when the African Direct Telegraph Company in Freetown operated spark equipment to generate Morse code. The radio broadcasting scene in Sierra Leone began in 1931 when radio was connected to homes with cables called rediffusion service, and on May 7, 1934, at 7 p.m., the newly appointed governor, Sir Arnold Hodgson, inaugurated the news cable service for Freetown when he spoke into a microphone at Wilberforce Memorial Hall. This was the first cable radio system in West Africa, and over the next 20 years acquired 2,300 subscribers. Radio transmission sites went further from the Freetown colony over time, with a new shortwave communication station in 1947 at the present post office site, a new radio station at Pademba Road, New England, Freetown, and with a 5 kilowatt transmitter at Hill Station, inaugurated in 1957, heard as far as Sweden. The present Leicester site was originally constructed by the British Marconi Company in 1963 to provide a new VHF black and white television service. Over the next 15 years, an access road was built from Regent Road near Leicester Village, and the British firm Francis and Lewis constructed a self-supporting triangular tower and power generating room. Color television coverage was extended to all districts in 1978 when the site was inaugurated with its first refurbishment since 1963. Leicester Peak is 1,850 feet above sea level. Its vantage point makes it ideal for transmission of high-frequency radio signals. This is why competition has come to this peak in order for other stations to have the access to the broadcast channels that are enjoyed by SLBC. The site has passed 57 years of existence. Another refurbishment to the structure has been done. Frederick Pratt, who is stationed at the SLBC Leicester Transmission Estate, said that the renovation is a facelift to the building and a reinforcement of the roof which supports the masts for SLBC, SALCAB, and the telecommunications for the UN agencies operating in Sierra Leone. Global broadcasters such as the BBC, Radio France International, and local broadcasters like Capital Radio and Kids Radio all have transmitters stationed on site in the SLBC transmission building. With the building's exterior renovated, the interior is soon to receive necessary augmentation to the electrical and cooling system that will improve the longevity of the transmitters housed there, including SLBC's new digital systems. Without including the police communication facilities, there are 6 additional clients, known as co-locators, who have occupancy on the grounds of SLBC's Leicester Peak estate and have erected masts very close to SLBC's facilities. These co-locators also sublease their poles to other radio stations and internet service providers who require the height and clear line of sight of Leicester Peak for their high-frequency and microwave radio relays. With virtually every mobile company and every internet provider in Sierra Leone linked into Leicester Peak, the site is effectively serving 3 million mobile phone users in addition to a similar number of viewers, listeners, and internet users at home and abroad. SLBC's senior engineer welcomes the legally established and confirmed ownership of Leicester Peak.
Leicester Peak, we know when we want to transmit a signal, there's always the fear of encountering what we call obstacles along the line, because we are transmitting signal using free space. And when it transmits using free space, there is tendency of what we call of the mountains themselves to obstruct the transmission of the signal. What I mean is when the signal is moving, there's the possibility that it hits the highest point and comes back. That's what we call reflection. So what people are doing is find the highest peak so that when you put a mast there, you're going to avoid all the obstacles of free space, like some of the buildings, some of the mountains, so that when you transmit the signal, it goes for a long distance without encountering any obstacle. That is why Leicester Peak is chosen as a point where almost everybody is finding to go put its transmission site. But we are grateful to government. We're really grateful to the ministry that we've now got legal papers to the land.
Leicester Peak is not what it used to be as a secure site for signal broadcast. With no tall trees existing on the once deeply forested site, the masts are susceptible to lightning strikes. Climate change suggests that hurricanes, such as the 1975 hurricane that destroyed many homes in nearby Leicester Village, Gloucester and Regent, may occur with more frequency and at any time in the near future. Deforestation has reduced the ability of Leicester Peak to break the wind, and this further endangers the integrity of every mast erected on Leicester Peak. However, a site plan offers more than the security of perpetual tenure. Site plans are a key instrument in the urban development and planning in order to regulate the use and exclude the abuse of urban environments. Leicester Peak is known not only as a hub for telecommunications, but is iconic as a fragmented portion of the original Western Area Peninsula Forest and yet a world-renowned tourist destination. Leicester Peak has definitely become a feature of Sierra Leone's urban environment, and its legal status has now become one that makes SLBC the owner and improves the corporation's ability to negotiate the contractual terms and conditions for those who wish to benefit from the unique and expedient geographical location provided by Leicester Peak.